to my channel. So today's video is going to be a video about my second year of university, kind of the same as last year, so like a brutally honest review slash what I wish I knew slash I don't know, just like a review of second year rather than first year, and this is kind of tying in with videos that I'm going to be doing over the summer about, I literally say summer, can we appreciate that? It's genuinely 3 PM and I'm having to use my studio light because it is that dark. Anyway, so this video is going to be about summer. No, it's not, Eve, come on, speak. It's going to be about university and preparing for university, and hopefully like me talking about my experience can help you learn some mistakes that I made and grow as a person. But before I start, I just want to say that this video is very kindly sponsored by UniversiTEA. Oxford obviously has a different accommodation sort of system because we all live in the colleges, but if I had gone to another university, then UniversiTEA would have been such a good option for accommodation. So they offer either shared apartments of between 3 to 9 people with ensuite bedrooms, or they offer studios, so there's something to suit everybody. They have lots of locations, whether that's Edinburgh, Birmingham, Southampton, London, like there are loads of different places, and all of their accommodation is a straight walk to the city centre, and it's close to the university buildings and amenities like bars and restaurants, so you're right in the middle of the action. What I love the most is that all bills are included, so you don't have to faff about with sorting out extra things, so everything is sorted for you, and they also have 24/7 security and teams on site to make sure that everything is going smoothly, which again is such a nice peace of mind to have. There's lots of things that you can be like doing on site as well, like they have lots of activities and programs going on, so if you're really into fitness, not only do they have a 24/7 gym in most places, they also have like yoga classes and running clubs, so it really is like a community, which I really rate and is really important at uni. I know that everyone's really worried about COVID, and naturally I would be too, but obviously UniversiTEA are doing all they can to make their buildings as safe and secure as possible, and they're going to have hand sanitizer, regular cleaning services, markers to make sure that you're the right distance apart from people, and digital events as well to facilitate meeting your neighbours. So if you'd like to check out UniversiTEA as an option for your accommodation, which I would really recommend, then I'll put all of the information down below so you can find out more. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video, and yeah, accommodation is something that I'm going to talk about in this video quite a lot, so let's get on with it. So second year, obviously I am just going to put a big fat disclaimer out there that my second year was not really a year, it was 2 terms. It was Christmas, like up to Christmas, and then up to March, and then obviously COVID just completely robbed me of the best term of my degree because I had no exams, it was going to be sunny and whatever. But I'm going to try and talk about the whole year holistically, both academically, socially, whatever. Just have a talk about it really, and sort of be honest about how I found it. So basically, if you don't know, I do modern languages, so I do German and Spanish, and the way that our degree works is it's a 4-year degree. So in first year you do what are called prelims, which are kind of like first year exams. They don't count to the end of your degree, but basically the course is kind of like showing the ropes. You do a little bit of everything, right? And you do exams at the end, and if you pass them you go in second year. And second year and 4th year, obviously your 3rd year is abroad, well hopefully, you do what's called final honour school, which is essentially finals. So this year I have done half of the papers that count towards my final degree. And so for my final degree it's half language, half literature. So obviously language you kind of just do rolling like all the way through your degree, so we have like translation classes for both, and we also have like speaking seminars where we practice speaking, and so that kind of does the language side. For Spanish I have slightly more classes than German because it's more centralised, whereas for German I just have classes with my tutors about translation into and out of German, and also a seminar. And then for literature, basically for your finals you have to do 2 papers in your 2 languages, and then you do what's called a special paper. So I chose, for German, I chose medieval German, and I chose German linguistics from like 1300 until now, no, 1050 until now. And then for Spanish I chose Golden Age Spanish literature, so that's like 15th, 16th century sort of time, 16th, 17th century more. And I also chose special authors, which is basically where you can pick 2 authors of your choice and study them in depth. So I've done Mario Vargas Llosa this year, and I haven't done the other one yet because I'm not in my 4th year. Also, can I just say that I sat down to film this video and it was light outside, and I now have a lamp on, a studio light on, and it is absolutely hammering it down with rain. Like my room is pitch black basically. So I'm really sorry if you can hear the rain, but also I think it's quite comforting, so I feel like it's fine. Anyway, so in terms of academics, I personally, oh my god, that rain is so loud. Are you joking me? So I personally found second year academically less of a challenge than first year for many reasons. So obviously because of first year, like you're thrown into it, and the first year course is very much like a bit of everything. So each week you're doing a different author, a different text, a different time, and I think that means that you can't really go into depth about anything. And I loved first year academically as well. I found it really interesting. Didn't find it so good personally, although looking back I feel like I still have lots of really good memories of my first year. Like, it was quite traumatizing, but I think that it is traumatizing for a lot of people in like a positive and negative way. But basically this year I really enjoyed the papers that I picked. I was really worried for German because I thought, oh my gosh, like I've picked medieval German, so that's like really early, and I've also picked linguistics, which means that I'm not studying any German literature past like 1300, and that did worry me because obviously you want to do as much breadth as you can in the course. But the issue with the Oxford course is that it doesn't have like politics, history, like papers. It only has literature. It's a very literature heavy degree, which is what I picked because that is what I enjoy doing, and I was going to do English Lit at uni, so that's why I went for a very heavy literature based degree. But I was really worried that that was gonna like really limit sort of, I don't know, my perspectives. But I've decided to do my special paper, which is the one that you do right before your finals, which is kind of like a niche one where you do like a dissertation or like a portfolio of essays on, like, I think German literature in the GDR is what I'm thinking right now. Maybe what it's like to grow up black in the GDR, I haven't decided, but I've been reading some books around that, and I think that could be really interesting. So I will get to do some other stuff, and I can obviously just read German books if I want to, like, but for me, I've always preferred Spanish literature. I think that's why I ended up picking linguistics for German, because I find the German language really interesting, but I find the Spanish literature more interesting than, yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so this year I did my entire medieval paper, my entire Golden Age Spanish paper, half of my linguistics paper, and half of my special authors paper. So I did Vargas Llosa. I did the linguistics and the Vargas Llosa this term, which is a shame because I didn't have all the books that I really needed to do it like as in depth as I would have wanted to have done it. But I have to say that I am so glad that I picked those papers, because that is the only thing that made this term bearable. I really enjoyed Vargas Llosa, especially. Like, I did one book of his for prelims, and everybody else hates him, right? And I'm not saying I endorse him as a person, but I studied him this term and I loved my tutorials for that this term. I found them really engaging. They were one-on-one as well. All of my tutorials this year were one-on-one, which I really enjoyed, because although it's terrifying because you don't have anywhere to turn, I found in first year sometimes I'd just drift off and not really be paying attention, whereas now I had to be on the ball. And my tutors this year, both for Golden Age and for Vargas Llosa, were fantastic. I loved the Golden Age paper. I loved it. Did you hear that thunder? Wow, I loved the Golden Age paper. I loved learning about that period. The lectures were so good for that. I did find there was a massive disparity in the amount of lectures for Spanish and German, because for medieval there really weren't that many useful lectures, whereas for Spanish Golden Age there are so many lectures. Like, I think it's because it's a very popular one, but basically I went to all of those lectures and they were really helpful. The handouts that I've got are going to be really useful. I found personally that my performance didn't really drop this year at all. I think academically, I think I was a lot stronger this year than I was in my first year, like consistent, because I kind of knew what I was doing, if you know what I mean. Obviously I had some essays that were better than others, especially when you get towards the end of term, like, but all of my reports this year have been really solid. I still haven't got my reports for this term because my tutor said she's going to release them and I still can't find them. Let's see if they've done it now, but I don't think they have. No, so they've not been released yet, so I can't tell you how I've done this term. But from what I've heard from my tutors, like, I really was worried that me being stuck in this house with nowhere to go, with no certainty about my year abroad, was going to be an absolute, like, death knell for my academics. And I think that that was why I was so panicked, because you know me, like, I really pride myself on my academics, and at the start of the lockdown I was starting to feel myself slip back into how I was feeling at the start of first year, at the end of first year. If you want to know all about what happened to me in first year, then I've got lots of videos on that on my channel. But safe to say, like the third term of my first year annoyingly was a really rough time for me mentally, which is so annoying now because I had a really bad time last year, and now this year has been a pandemic, so I've been stuck in my house, and now my only summer term left at Oxford is the one where I've got my finals, so I'm just going to be locked in the library. So basically summer in Oxford's just never going to happen for me. It's fine, but I found myself slipping, so I went and got help like really quickly, and I nipped it in the bud. And I think that sort of like grabbing onto that meant that I could really like do well this term, and don't think I've done as well in terms of just like quality of some of my work, just because, to be honest, like who wants to do a translation after translation after translation after translation after essay after translation when you're not seeing your friends and like whatever. But obviously everyone's in the same boat. I'm not trying to say that that's just me, but I did find as I was saying, I did find the academic content of this term really interesting. I found the academic content of this whole year really interesting. I'd say out of all of them, linguistics was the hardest to get to grips with because it was a totally different thing and I've never done it before. But the first half of the paper is very much based on like, oh my god, the lightning, oh my gosh, I have the worst luck when it comes to film videos. Can you hear that? I've got to show you this. I'm sorry, I've got to show you this. See this? Can you see this? It is absolutely, like, it doesn't even look that bad on camera, but it's absolutely plummeting it down. Look at the floor. It was literally sunny 10 minutes ago. Right, so I'm gonna keep filming, but this is just making me laugh so much. But as I was saying, yeah, I really enjoyed the academic content this year. I didn't find it as bitty. I found that, like, especially with the author paper, I could like really delve into things and get really in depth. And this term I've written 4 essays on the same author, so I was like building on the ideas that I'd already written and like applying them to different texts and things, and I found that really intellectually stimulating. And I also found that my translation skills have got a lot better this year. But I would say that as much as I've enjoyed the content this year, I do have some gripes with the Oxford course that I think you should kind of know about if you're thinking of doing languages. So basically, it is a very literature heavy course and you do the essays in English, right? So I feel like a lot of my degree is me reading books in Spanish or English or German or English and like writing English lit style essays on them, which is great because that is what I enjoy doing and I find it really interesting. But all my friends at other unis have got modules on like politics and history and all of these different things, and we don't have like papers where you can do that. So we don't have like history papers and politics papers. We have a couple of, my gosh, we have, I actually don't know if I can carry on filming. So we have a couple of film papers, but we don't have much variety. And if you're like me and you really like literature, that's not an issue. But if you're not like me and you prefer, you know, a bit of everything, then I would say Oxford's probably not for you. And I would also say that I feel like my language skills have got way worse since I've got to uni. I know that that is in part because you know more about what you don't know, so you feel like you're worse, but also Oxford is not very heavy on speaking. So my writing in German and Spanish I would say is very good, and I would say that I've really improved, but my speaking, my spoken German and Spanish, not so much, because I think they kind of just assume that you're gonna like get fluent on your year abroad, and that's kind of the end of that. So obviously I'm hoping that on my year abroad I will come back and I will be fluent, or at least a lot stronger in my languages, but I obviously don't know that that's going to happen, and that is something that's annoying that you have to sort of bear in mind. So that's in terms of academics. I don't really know what else to say. I found it a really enjoyable year. I didn't find it as difficult, I don't think. I found it difficult in terms of the workload. The workload is a joke, but that is what you sign up for when you go to uni, I suppose, and that's what you sign up for when you go to a uni where the terms are only 8 weeks and they're just like, here, work. But it is definitely manageable if you really work hard, and I have no complaints really about the academics this year. I didn't find it as much of an uphill curve as I did last year, I think because I worked really hard last year to kind of get over that first shock, and then that meant that I was better prepared for this year. So in terms of everything else though, I lived in Pipe Partridge in my college. So as I was saying, my college provides accommodation, so I had a room which you guys have seen in my videos, and I loved my room this year. It was a bit dark, but like so is my room at home, but it had a really lovely view, and I found like the social element of college again really nice this year. I think again you get rid of that like fear of being a fresher, and so it was just really comfortable. Like you came back and there were just familiar faces everywhere, and I loved my room. I thought it was really nice, and I felt like really comfortable in college, and I did make friends with a lot of the freshers as well, which is obviously needed because most of my mates will have graduated by the time I go back after my year abroad. But yeah, no, LMH has always been great. I have no complaints about LMH in terms of social life at all. Like, it's a really welcoming, really warm community, and I didn't have as many struggles this year in terms of mental health, and just generally, like, I didn't have like any boy troubles or anything really, which I'll go on to, but which kind of made my second year a little bit easier to deal with in that sense. But again, really supportive community, and I also made a lot of friends outside of college this year, which was really nice. So I really do feel like I've got like a really firm base, even though most of them will be gone by the time I go back, which is such a shame. I'm just devastated that I didn't get the summer in Oxford, because the summer at LMH is gorgeous, and like, it's so sad that we can't just be in the gardens and having pints at the pub and stuff. But yeah, Oxford's a gorgeous city, and there's so much to see and do, and I cannot wait to go up and fetch my stuff, even if it's literally just for a day, so I can like go and be back in Oxford. But I'm definitely going to appreciate it more in final year. I'm definitely going to appreciate it more in final year than I feel like I did in second year. Not that I didn't appreciate it in second year, but you are just, when you're in Oxford, you are just going from place to place to place and doing thing to thing to thing. And then when this pandemic hit, I was like, oh my days, like, you take so much for granted. Like, even just sitting in the corridor with your mates, or late night trips to Tesco or whatever. So I know that my fourth year is going to require me to work hard, but I'm also going to play really hard now. I was going to just work hard, but now I'm like, no, I've been robbed of my second year. Like, I'm going to play hard as well. Yeah, in terms of boys, I just really don't like the Oxford dating scene. I just don't. As much as I love Tinder and Bumble, like, as a concept, like, they just don't work for me. Like, I went on a couple of dates last year, but none of them really went that far, if you know what I mean. And I feel like my first year was just a bit of a bumpy ride in terms of boys. And yeah, like, I feel like maybe that's one of the regrets I have of second year, is that I feel like for the whole of second year I was very much like, I don't really want to get involved, like, I just don't want to do it. Like, I went on a few dates and like I tried to pursue things, but it always just fizzled out, because I think I was so scared that I would have a repeat of first year, like, which I'm really annoyed about, because it shouldn't be like that. Like, I should just like be open to things, but I suppose like I just didn't want it to be the same. I thought, you know, like, if I sort of like let things go further or whatever, then it will. So I did just sort of like get involved in loads of other things. I did like the student newspaper, which I've already spoken about in one of my vlogs, like a detail, so I won't go into it here. But student newspaper I did a lot of, and just spending so much time with my friends and stuff. Like, I do really think that the time that I was at uni, even though it was really short this year, was fantastic. And I'm so sad. Like, I knew I was gonna get upset filming this video, because I feel like I really just wanted that last term to like say goodbye to my friends properly and whatever. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be at uni with a lot of my friends ever again now, so we just have to hold on to the memories that we did have. But it was just absolute chaos, like from Burns night formal to like late night trips like around Oxford, and clubbing, and like loads of like theatre plays. And I just did so much in my second year, and I think I was a lot more just like less worried about what people were thinking about me, and I kind of just got on with it, and I just really embraced the chaos of uni. I don't think I did that much in first year. I think I was trying to fight against the chaos, whereas I think in second year I definitely just sort of went, okay, like, some days I'm just gonna be hungover in bed. Like, one day I remember really vividly, like, I literally got up at 5 PM, and that is like, you just have to embrace it. Like, you just have to embrace that. But yeah, no, so I really did enjoy second year, and it makes me really sad that I didn't really get a full second year, and I wish that I'd done more now. But I suppose everyone's wishing that they'd done more in their time at uni. But I had a really good time. I made really, really good friends, and I'm really, really grateful that second year was as good as it was. It's just a shame that it was cut short. Looking forward to my year abroad. Like, I'm really excited to have a year away from uni, I think, but also really sad that I'm not going to be around with my friends. But I do think I'll fly back to like visit them and stuff, so it won't be like I'm never going to see them again. And also I am excited for fourth year, but I do think that my second year has definitely, like, how much my plans have changed because of COVID. Like, I do think that will impact my fourth year, because I had fully planned to go all out this year and like really just enjoy myself and like do all of the things that I wanted to do, so that in fourth year I could really like knuckle down and like get a really good mark on my degree. But I do think now I'm gonna just want to, I'm just gonna want to go like and do stuff. Like if somebody says to me, do you want to come to the pub, I'm just gonna want to go. If somebody says, do you want to go clubbing, I'm gonna be like, yes. Do you know what I mean? So I think that it will definitely change the trajectory of what I'm planning on doing for the rest of my time. But yeah, I think overall I've really loved second year. It's been difficult, it's been like a really hard year in terms of like just so much work, but that is kind of just university like in general. But it's been challenging, there's been highs, there's been lows, but there have definitely been more highs than lows this year, which I'm really grateful for. And yeah, I'm just, yeah, it's a bittersweet thing because I'm really sad that this year was really good because it meant that I didn't get the full one. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd rather COVID had been in first year when I was having a really rough time. So it's like it swings and roundabouts. But so I hope you enjoyed this kind of review slash what I wish I'd known slash things that I'm just looking back on. Second year, it's been a really good time, and yeah, I'm feeling very nostalgic now, and I'm probably gonna go have a little cry. But I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless, and thank you so much to UniversiTEA for sponsoring this video. As I said, I will leave all the information about that down in the description. And yeah, I think that's everything, so I'll see you very soon with a new video, and sorry about the crazy storm. Bye guys. Mwah.